everybody. I wanted to share with you today this short, gentle practice where we work into opening up through the hips and warming up in the lower spine. So I'm going to start my practice today sat on a blanket for comfort, but additionally I'm going to grab 2 cushions to support me throughout some of the postures today. You don't have to use cushions, but I highly recommend it for a slightly cozier practice. So bringing ourselves into our first seat to start the class. Prop my cushions under my knees, coming into easy pose, rooting through both sit bones into the ground. And when you've made yourself comfortable, palms are resting on the knees, and we'll gently tilt the head forwards, sending the gaze down to the earth in front of you or closing your eyes. Take a moment here, allow the body to settle into stillness. Letting the weight of the body sink towards the ground. We'll begin to soften through the limbs. Knees are heavy, hips softly opening, shoulders slide away from the ears, making sure the jaw is relaxed here. We'll bring the awareness to the breath. And begin to follow the breath for a few rounds. Just acknowledging a full inhale and a soft releasing exhale. Listening to the breath. Maybe noticing the quality of your breath today. When you find an inhale, opening the eyes, lifting the chin. Take a moment to sit up nice and tall, crown of the head reaching towards the sky, and roll the shoulders back a couple of times. Perfect. We'll keep the knees crossed, but you're welcome here to cross them in the opposite direction. This might not feel great for you. I know everyone has a favorite side, so see where you end up or how it feels. We're going to bring the palms in front of us on the earth, spread the fingers, and then creep the hands forward, just easing the chest down towards the space in front of us. Keep the spine long for the first few breaths, tucking the chin into the neck. Length all the way up from the back body to the top of the head. When you find an exhale, releasing the head down, heavy towards the earth, rounding through the shoulders. Trying to encourage a steady, even breath into the body throughout the practice today. When you find an inhale, we'll creep the hands over to the left. Let the head hang heavy here if you've lifted it at all. creep the hands back through to center. And then the hands will come over to the right. Make sure both of your sit bones are still rooted into the ground the whole time we're here. On an inhale, creeping the hands back through to center, and then walking them towards the body to sit up nice and tall. Coming into supported Baddha Konasana now. So knees are wide, soles of the feet are going to come together, and then make this posture yours. So don't take too much notice of where my knees and my feet are. So long as your feet are together and your knees are dropping wide, you can bring your feet further out in front or closer to the body here, wherever feels best. When you've found that sweet spot, we let the knees drop out and then support them with the cushions so there's not a deep opening just yet. You're welcome to come straight into that deeper opening if you wish, but I do recommend just taking today's practice as a little bit softer and a little bit of a kinder one. When we've found our leg position, taking the hands and threading them under the lower legs, palms to the sky. And again, rounding through the shoulders and the upper back, let the head hang heavy. Tapping into the breath here. Seeing if we can use those exhales to soften through the hips and let the knees drop a little wider. Can we take a little more effort out of what is happening in the legs right now? Keep the steady breath. When you find your next inhale, we'll turn the palms over and then creep the hands back towards the body very slowly, sitting up nice and tall. Nice. Left foot is going to come in a little. I'm going to lengthen the right leg out long and at a diagonal. So here I recommend keeping the cushion under your right knee rather than letting that knee drop straight down to the earth. If you want the stretch, bring it down. But I'm going for soft today. So keep the cushion under the knee, sole of the left foot is resting in that inner right thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll twist the body towards the lengthened leg and then creep the hands down the leg, just resting them wherever they fall and allowing the head to hang forwards. Again, round through the shoulders. Any discomfort in the lower back here at all, just ease off and sit a little taller. We'll work with the breath here, noticing if on an inhale we can ease out of the posture slightly and use an exhale to sink back into that forward fold. For an extra stretch on the back of that right leg, flex the right toes towards the face. Maybe still playing around with inhaling to ease out and exhale to come back into that forward fold. On your next inhale, we'll creep the body out, coming up to seated. Sit nice and tall, crown reaching up towards the sky, and give the shoulders another roll back. Come into the second side. So this time, left leg comes out long and at a diagonal. Right foot coming in towards that left thigh, letting the knee be supported by the cushion, and you've got your other cushion under your opposite knee. Twisting the body towards the lengthened leg again, we'll creep the hands down the leg, coming into a forward fold, and then hands will just rest wherever they end up. It doesn't matter if they're on the floor or on the shin. Maybe they're on the thigh. rounding through the back of the shoulders. Head hangs heavy. And then option, same as before. If you want that extra stretch in the back of the leg, flexing the left toes towards the face. Coming back to the breath. Noticing if we ease out of the pose on an inhale, maybe there's a bit more space in that fold on the exhale. On your next inhale, creep the hands back towards the body, sitting nice and tall. Very gently, we'll swing the legs round, coming to sit on our knees now. Bring ourselves into a supported child's pose here. So you've got two options with this blanket. You can either leave the blanket on the mat, which is what I'm going to do, for a little bit of cushion on the knees. Or, unless you've got an extra blanket, that can be handy here. Or you're going to roll it up and pop it between your bottom and your heels for an extra bit of support there. If you've got any discomfort in the knees at all coming into this position, I highly recommend popping your rolled up blanket or even grab another cushion and pop it under your bottom here. Toes are going to come together, knees are going to be wide. And then we'll take our two cushions and we'll place the point of the cushion towards the center of the body. Stack the second on top. Coming into child's pose, bring the chest down onto the cushions and then rest the arms with a bend in the elbow just down to our sides. Bring ourselves to rest on one side of our face. Take a few breaths here to soften. Welcoming ourselves into the pose. We'll spread the fingers here and gently press through the hands. Working with the breath as we inhale, lifting the body up by pressing the palms into the earth. Exhale, lowering ourselves down, coming to rest on the opposite cheek. Back again, inhaling to press the palms into the earth, lift up. Exhaling, coming back to the first side. Take a few rounds like this. Inhaling to press and lift, exhaling to soften and lower. When you find your next exhale, resting on the opposite cheek to which you started. Finding an inhale, press into the hands and creep the body back up again to seated. And then bring yourself into a comfortable seat to close the practice. Take your time to get there. Maybe you bring your cushions back from the start, just like we started with them under our knees. Palms either resting down, or if you're feeling like there's a little more space and energy in the body now, resting the hands up towards the sky. Lowering the gaze, chin towards the chest. And settling back into the breath here. Welcoming a few rounds of breath in stillness. you find an inhale, lifting the gaze. We'll bring the palms together at heart center. And that's us done. Thank you so much for joining me for this short and sweet practice. Hopefully that has given you a little bit of coziness and warmth to go about the rest of your day. Hopefully I will see you soon.